The doctor is in this morning. We are talking about the importance of caring and protecting your eyes and vision at every age.
And joining us now is optometrist Dr. James Dello Russo. Welcome back. Thanks for being here again. Important information for parents, of course. First, let's start with how old do you think how old should kids be when they bring their children to get their first eye exam?
Sure. Good morning. Thanks for having me back. Well, that's a good question, and we usually want to have a child evaluated by an eye care professional, not just a screening, somewhere between the ages of 3 to 5. So certainly before entering kindergarten.
Let's talk about signs of eye and vision problems up to 2 years old. What are some of the things that parents should be on the lookout for?
Sure. As eyes are developing in that age, vision can vary. There are some things that parents can notice that are red flags. Certainly if you're getting excessive tearing, or it's sometimes a sign that there can be blocked tear ducts, and that often gets parents concerned. Other rare conditions like extreme light sensitivity can be a rare condition called pediatric glaucoma when the eye pressure is elevated. Or even rarer still, if parents notice a white pupil, it's the most common form of cancer in the eye, but it's a malignant cancer that affects about 200 Americans per year. But certainly if that's noticed, you want to get early diagnosis immediately.
Oh my goodness, for sure. So that's definitely something to be on the lookout for. Yeah.
And as children grow up, it's also something that parents need to stay on top of, because some of these issues can develop later on in life. Let's bring up on the screen the signs of eye or vision problems for up to 18 years old, because these are important as well. Avoiding reading is one of those signs that parents should look out for.
Absolutely. As children develop between 6 and 20, that's when refractive error can really change quite a bit. And so the telltale sign that your child isn't seeing well is squinting, or holding reading material very close, or avoidance of reading materials, or often losing their place, or if parents are observing an eye that turns. A common form of vision problems is strabismus, or a lazy eye, that can affect development as well. And certainly double vision can be sometimes associated with an eye that turns.
And let's talk about adults. How often should they get an eye exam?
So adults up until the ages of 65 are okay with every 2 years. And certainly an annual checkup, even if you don't have any visual complaints, is a very good thing to do, especially if there's any cardiovascular problems like diabetes or uncontrolled hypertension. Then your primary care doctor may urge you to come in annually, for sure.
There are also some things that people can do to just protect their eyes in general. Some of this is wearing sunglasses to block those rays. Some of them are taking a break, though, from your screen time and even your books, which is something that people don't necessarily always do.
Absolutely. Critical for kids and adults that, myopia has doubled since 1974. About 25% of people are now nearsighted, and one of the catalysts that drives vision refractive errors is excess screen time. So really want to limit our leisure time on devices to about 3 hours per day. Healthy diet is critical to development and longevity. So whole grains and fruits and vegetables are rich in vitamin A, C, E, zinc, and lutein that protect the eye from oxidative stress and aging.
And taking off that makeup before you go to bed.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times of the day I have people coming in with styes, and largely they can be prevented by lid hygiene. And so it's very tough to remove waterproof mascara, but makeup has to come off at bedtime.
And makeup is a good way to transition into Halloween. We're close to Halloween. Certainly people put on some makeup for their costumes, both kids and adults, men and women. What are some tips that we should keep in mind? We just put some up here on the screen to protect your eyes during Halloween, especially if you have glitter, face paint, that kind of stuff.
Well, same rule applies. You want to make sure you wash off all the makeup. It's not formulated to play nicely with the eyes and cause a lot of redness and irritation. In terms of preventing infections, you don't want to share makeup. Costume contact lenses become extremely popular for these 2 weeks.
The monster contact?
Yes, the monster contact.
We see a lot of those,
Yes, and some people get them from questionable sources. You can get anything on the internet these days, and you really want to make sure that you get it from an eye care professional that's actually fit you to use the lens safely, because we really want to avoid abrasions or, worst case, a corneal ulcer, which can be actually sight-threatening.
So you can buy those at an eye doctor's office or somewhere?
You can. It just takes a little wherewithal to get into your eye care professional, before Halloween arrives.
And no swinging swords too close to the eye, because...
Yes, we don't want to have any horrors during Halloween, and certainly there are a lot of eye emergencies that happen with people that are sparring with swords and costumes, and also visibility in your costume, not only to be visible with brightly colors or flashlights, but make sure your child can see and they have good peripheral vision to navigate steps and curbs.
All right, very good. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The doctor is in this morning. We are talking about the importance of caring and protecting your eyes and vision at every age.
And joining us now is optometrist Dr. James Dello Russo. Welcome,
welcome
back.
Is in this
Thanks
morning.
for being here
We are
again.
talking about the importance of
information
caring and
for
protecting
parents, of
your
course.
eyes and vision.
First, let's start with how old do you think? And joining us now is optometrist Dr. James Dello Russo. Welcome back. Thanks for being here again.
Sure. Good morning. Thanks for having me back.
Information for parents.
Well,
of
that's
course.
a good question, and we usually want to have a child evaluated by an eye care professional, not just a screening, somewhere between the ages of 3 to 5. So well, that's a good question, and we usually
Let's
want
talk
to
about signs of eye and
a
vision
child
problems
evaluated by
years
an eye
old.
care
What are some of the
professional,
things,
not just a screening,
that parents should
somewhere
look out
between the
for?
ages of 3 to 5. So developing in that age, vision can vary.
Let's talk about
there
signs
are some
of eye and
things
vision
that
problems
parents
up
can
to 2 years old.
notice
What are some of the things
that are red flags. Certainly, if you're getting
parents should
excessive
look out for?
tearing, as eyes are developing in that age, vision can vary. There are some things that block tear ducts and that notice that are red flags. Certainly, if you're getting excessive other rare conditions like extreme light sensitivity, it's sometimes a sign that there condition called pediatric glaucoma when the eye pressure is elevated. Blocked tear ducts, or even rarer still, if parents notice a white pupil. Other rare conditions like extreme light sensitivity can be cancer in the eye, but it's a malignant cancer when the eye pressure is elevated. Affects about 200 Americans still per year. Parents notice a white pupil, it's a very early diagnosis. It's the most common form of cancer in the eye, but it's a malignant cancer.
And as children grow up,
affects about 200 Americans per year. But certainly, if that's noticed,
later on in
you want
life.
to
Let's
get
bring up on the
early
screen the
diagnosis
signs of
now.
eye or
my
vision
goodness, for
problems
sure.
for
So
up
that's
to
definitely
18 years
something
old,
to
because
be on
these
the
are
lookout
important
for.
as well.
And as children grow up,
reading
it's also
is one of
something
those
that
signs
parents
that
need to
parents
stay
should
on
look out
top
for,
of.
because some of these
Absolutely.
issues
As
can develop
children
later
develop
on in life.
between
Let's bring up
6
on the
and
screen
20,
the signs of eye
that's
or
when
vision
refractive
problems for
error
up to
can
18
really
years old,
change
because
quite
these
a
are
bit.
important as
And
well.
so the
Avoiding
telltale
reading is
sign
one
that
of those
your
signs
child
that
isn't
parents
seeing
should
well
look
is
out for.
squinting.
Absolutely. As
or
children
holding
develop
reading
between
material
6
very
and
close,
20,
that's
or
when
avoidance
refractive error
of reading
can really
materials,
change
or
quite a bit.
often losing
And
their
so
place,
the telltale
or parents
sign
are
that
observing
your
an eye
child
that
isn't seeing well
turns,
is a common
squinting,
form of vision
or
problems,
holding
is
reading
strabismus
material
or a
very
lazy
close,
eye that can
or
affect
avoidance
development
of
as
reading
well.
materials, or
and certainly
often
double
losing their
vision
place,
can be sometimes
or
associated
parents are
with
observing an eye that
turns.
turns. A common
let's talk about adults.
form
How
of
often
vision
should
problems
they
is
get,
strabismus or a
an
lazy
exam?
eye.
So
that can affect
adults
development
up
as well.
until the ages of
And
65
certainly
are
double
okay
vision
with
can be
every
sometimes
2
associated
years.
with an eye that
And certainly an annual
let's talk
checkup,
about
even if you
adults. How
don't
often
have any
should
visual
they
complaints,
get,
is
an eye exam?
a very good thing to do.
adults up
Especially if there's
until
any
the age of
cardiovascular
65
problems
are okay
like
with every
diabetes
2 years.
or uncontrolled
And
hypertension.
certainly
An
your
annual
primary
checkup,
care
even if you
doctor may
don't
urge
have any
you
visual
to
complaints,
come in
is
annually, for
a
sure.
very
There
good
are also
thing to do,
some
especially
things
if there's
that
any
people can do to just
cardiovascular
protect their eyes
problems
in
like
general. Some of
diabetes
this
or
is wearing
uncontrolled
sunglasses to
hypertension.
block
Then
those
your primary
rays.
care doctor
Some
may
of them
urge you
taking
to
a break
come in
though from
annually,
your
for
screen
sure.
time,
There
and
are
even your
also some
books, which is something that can do to just protect their eyes in
necessarily
general.
always
Some
do.
of this is wearing
Absolutely critical
sunglasses
for
to block
kids
those
and
rays.
adults that
Some of them are taking a
myopia
break
has
though from your
doubled
screen
since
time and even your
1974. About
books,
25%
which is something that
of people
don't
are now
necessarily always
nearsighted,
do.
and one of the catalysts that
critical
drives
for
vision
kids
and
and
refractive
adults
errors is
excess screen time.
myopia
So
has
really want to
doubled
limit our
since
leisure time on
1974.
devices to
about 3 hours per day.
People
Are now nearsighted,
healthy diet
and one of
is
the
critical
catalysts that drives
to development
vision refractive
and,
errors is
longevity.
excess screen time.
So,
really want to
whole
limit our
grains
leisure
and fruits
time
and vegetables
on
are rich
devices
in
to
vitamin
about
A,
3 hours
C,
per day.
zinc and lutein that protect
healthy
the eye
diet
from
is critical
oxidative stress and
to
aging.
development
And taking off that makeup
longevity.
before you go to bed.
Whole
Absolutely.
grains
I
and
can't tell
fruits
you
and
how many
vegetables are
times
rich
a
in
day I have
vitamin A,
people coming in with
C,
size,
zinc and lutein,
and largely
that
they can be
protect the eye
prevented
from
by lid
oxidative
hygiene.
stress
So
and
it's very
aging.
tough
And
to
taking off that
remove
makeup
Waterproof
before you go to
mascara,
bed.
but
Absolutely.
makeup
I
has to
can't tell
come
you how
off
many
at
times
that
of the day I have
And
people
makeup
coming
is
in
a
with
way to
size,
transition into
and
Halloween.
largely they
We're
can be
close to
prevented
Halloween.
by
Certainly,
lid hygiene, and
people
so it's
put
very
on some
tough
makeup for
to
their
remove
costumes,
waterproof
both
mascara,
kids
but
and adults,
makeup
men and
has to
women.
come off
What are some
at that
tips
time.
that we should
Makeup
keep in
is a
mind
way
when we
to just
transition
come
into
up here on the
Halloween?
screen
We're close to
to
Halloween.
Halloween.
Certainly during Halloween, especially if you have glitter, face paint, their costumes.
Well, same
both
rule
kids
applies.
and
You want to make
adults,
sure you
men and women.
wash
What are
off
some
all
tips
the
that we
makeup.
should keep
It's
in
not
mind? We just
formulated
put
to
some
play
up here
nicely
on the
with the
screen to
eyes and
protect
cause
your
a lot
eyes
of redness
during
and
Halloween,
irritation.
especially if you have glitter, face paint, that kind
In
of
terms
stuff.
of, well, same rule applies. You want to make sure you're preventing infections infections. You don't want to
the
share makeup.
It's
Not formulated to play nicely with the eyes.
Costume
and cause a
contact
lot of
lenses
redness
become
and
extremely
irritation.
popular
You know, in terms
monster
of
contacts?
yes, the monster
We
contacts.
see a lot of those.
Preventing
yeah.
infections.
Yes, and
You
some
don't wanna
people
share
get them from
makeup.
questionable sources. You can get
Yeah.
anything on the internet these days.
Costume
and you really want to make
contact
sure that you get it from an
lenses
eye
become
care
extremely
professional
popular for this 2
that's
weeks.
actually
The
fit
monster
you.
contacts?
Yes, the
Yes,
monster
we
contacts.
see a lot of
You wanna
those,
avoid
yeah.
Yes, and some people
abrasions
get them
or
from
worst
questionable
case,
sources. You
a
can get
corneal
anything on the
ulcer,
internet
which can
these
be
days.
actually
And you really want to make
sight-threatening.
sure that you get
So
it
you
from
can
an
buy
eye care
those at a-
professional
at a eye
that's
doctor's
actually fit
office or
you.
somewhere?
And
use
it
the
just
lens
takes a little
safely, 'cause
wherewithal
we
to get
wanna
into your
avoid
eye care
abrasions
professional,
or worst case,
before
a
Halloween
corneal
arrives,
ulcer,
which
which
No
can be
swinging
actually
swords
sight-threatening.
too
So you
close
can
to
buy
the
those
eye
at a
because
eye doctor's
Yes, we
office
don't
or
want to have any
somewhere?
horrors
And
during
it just takes a
Halloween,
little
and certainly
wherewithal
there are a
to
lot
get
of
into
eye
your
emergencies
eye
that
care
happen
professional
with
before
people
Halloween
that are
arrives.
No
sparring
swinging
with
swords
swords and
too close
costumes,
to the
and also
eye
visibility in your
because-
costume.
Yes, we don't want to have
Not
any
only to
horrors
be
during
visible
Halloween,
with
and
brightly
certainly there are a
colored
lot of eye
flashlights,
emergencies that
but
happen.
make sure your child
with
can see
people
and they
that
have
are
good peripheral vision
sparring
to navigate
with
swords
steps
and
and
costumes,
curves.
and also visibility in your
Good.
costume,
Thank
not
you so
only
much
to
for your
be
time.
visible
thank
with
you for
brightly
having
colors or flashlights, but make sure your child can see and they have good peripheral vision to navigate steps and curves.
All right,
Dr.
very,
James Dello
yeah, very
Russo.
good. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me.